Hey everyone, it's Andrew again. I'm doing another video for talking about middle splits and chest to floor, straddle chest to floor and so on. Just some stretches that I found and techniques that have helped me get my splits flat, middle splits. Yeah, I think it's all about knowing the right stretches and learning to relax, as I've said in the last video. So I'll go through my little sequence of stretches and you can follow along. Okay. So once again, just as per this front splits video, I'll assume you've done a warm-up. Warm-up is important. You don't want to just be stretching cold. You need to do 5 to 10 minutes aerobic warm-up. Assuming you've done that, I'll just show you, I'll get started on the stretching. Okay. So you can start with your feet nice and wide apart, and I'm going to take a deep lunge out to the side. As I do this, this toe is going to be flexed up to the ceiling. This knee, I want to be pressed out over the foot, making sure that you're not coming forward, not too far back, that shouldn't be a problem, but your knee shouldn't be forward, it should be directly facing over where your foot is going. Also making sure that heel is touching the floor. Some people mightn't be flexy enough to do that, so take a big wider step if you can't get your foot to the floor. It'll mean you go up a bit more, but that's alright. You can work towards just trying to lower. You're thinking about trying to get this calf muscle down to the floor, at the same time turning out this knee. Let's go to the other side. So I stay nice and low as I go over, and I flex the toes up. As you can see, that's the stretch that I want in my middle toes up stretch. So flex the toes, trying to get that calf muscle to touch the floor. Keep pressing the knee, this knee out, heel stays on the floor. Stay nice and low, come to the other side, flex, sink a bit lower. This time you're going to see if you can do hands in front as you swap. This actually builds up your strength. Strength is also important in middle splits as well as flexibility, so stay nice and low and flex, calf to the floor, and other side, flex, calf to the floor, and relax. Good, and you can do in the middle. So sumo stretch, pressing the knees out with your elbows, but trying to press down. So really squat down, but also press the knees out. Do a little rocking, side to side. And hands on the floor, straightening, bend, straighten, and one more bend, and then rolling up. Also, I covered in this front splits video, I won't go over it again, but there's this little routine. So you're going side bend, flat back, touch the floor, chest to leg, middle, holding elbows, rock, 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 chest to leg, chest to leg, chest to leg. So obviously not that fast. Watch the splits video for the timing for that. That's actually going to help warm up your side splits as well. So check out my front splits video for that. Alright, so the next thing we want to do, we want to come down. I'm going to actually do some butt release stretches. So crossing your legs over, like so. Now, common thing that happens is this butt cheek comes off the floor. We want to really make sure the butt is on the floor. So this is not the same as the yoga stretch where they do the whole twist thing. This is my own little version I've made up, where it doesn't matter if this foot's not on the floor, but the most important thing is both sit bones on the floor. I'm going pulling with my opposite elbow to this knee, pulling it in and towards my chest. As I do that, thinking like a string is lifting me up, and I'm pulling up really, really nice and tall, chest into the leg and leg into the chest. And if you want an extra little stretch, tilt your tailbone a little bit more forwards and you'll really feel it in the butt. possibly the hip as well. So hold that for a little bit, and then we're going to swap sides. Okay, so both sit bones on the floor, elbow across, leg up, stretching up. And relax. Now, this next stretch, there's two variations, depending on how flexible you are. So beginner version, and by all means, you might be able to do the more advanced version even though you're just beginner at stretching. Just depends on where you're flexible. Girls, I find particularly, are fine with this, and they're straight onto the advanced version. So 1 foot over, like a half lotus. So I'm not crossing both knees over. So I want to lean back a little bit and press the foot down. Now, I don't want my foot tucked under here. I want it actually out a little bit so that it makes sort of a box with my feet. So I'm leaning away, pressing that knee down to touch the foot. It's quite a deep hip stretch in here. Good. And for more of a stretch, you can cross your foot over. Now, what I was saying, if that's easy, now I'm not great at this version, but I'll just show you what it is. You actually want to cross both knees over like this, right? And then sit down so that both knees are stacked on top of each other. In yoga, this is called face of cow. Very nice and wide. So making sure both butts, cheeks are on the floor and both knees are directly stacked on top of each other. If you want more of a stretch, you can walk your feet more forwards. Don't copy my form because, as you can see, my knees are coming right apart. They should be directly stacked on top of each other. So depending on where you are, you can keep on doing that stretch, or I'll go back to this one. So here, and chest forward, reaching forwards. So I want to think about lengthening forwards with a flat back and lengthening across my thigh here. And I want to really reach forward. I don't want to just be hunching down. I reach forward and along the floor. Breathe. So you want to, this is one of those ones where you really want to use your breath. You want to breathe in, breathe out, and sink lower. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and coming up. Alright, let's do the other leg. So option A or option B, depending on where you're at. I'll just do option A. So crossing 1 foot over, leaning back a little, pressing it down. Now you mightn't be able to get the knee all the way down, that's fine. So with this stretch, it's not so much about, like other stretches, just pressing it down is going to work. Like, actually have to think about kind of releasing the hip. So there's actually, it's not actually flexibility that's holding you back, it's actually tension. So your hip is flexible enough, but it's just tensing up. So you need to think sort of relaxing thoughts, is the best way I can describe it. Think about it releasing of tension, and it will just slowly let go over time. So you don't press any harder, just keep the same pressure. I think I need to release the hip, release the hip, release the hip, and it'll just get lower. Alright, so wherever you're at, come forwards, chest over the leg, flat back, reaching forwards. And relax. Make sure you do the breathing, breathe in, breathe out, relax in that stretch. Cool. Alright, let's do straddles now. I'm sure you've all seen these stretches a zillion times. Right, so we're going to, just a comfortable straddle, nothing too drastic. You're going to reach your hand over. Try to keep your chest open. You don't want to be doing this. Chest nice and open. I like to reach the other hand through. You can't touch your foot, that's okay. Just really try to keep that shoulder really nice and open. And coming up, other side. So keeping nice and open if you prefer. Sometimes I like to use this hand to actually press open my body. Or you can just reach through. We'll try this one as well. And coming up. Now this is the important bit. You're going to reach towards the leg. So you're going to bring your chest directly facing over the leg. And with a flat back, so no hunching, I want you to think reaching from your hip, bending from your hip, and everything else just stays straight from there up. So bending from your hip, even if that means, okay, I can only get to there. That's better than if you were trying to do this. Looks like I'm lower, but I'm actually just stretching my upper back. There's no stretching here, and it actually takes away, there's no hamstring stretch, or not as much. So it's really important that the technique that you use is right. Otherwise, you're actually just not going to improve because you're not stretching the right muscles or not stretching them in the way that they should be stretched. So chest over the leg. I like to actually just hold the leg if you can reach it. If not, you can actually get a yoga strap. So putting a yoga strap around your foot and then pulling in with the strap. Otherwise, you can hold the ankle or foot. So with the flat back, I'm going to reach forward. Now this is breathing so important here. So I want to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One more. Breathe in, breathe out. And then coming up. So each time you do that, you should find you're getting lower. Alright, we'll do the same on the other leg. Facing that leg, making sure you're keeping the flat back as much as possible as you come forwards. Reaching to the foot if you can. And we're going to start with the breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And again, breathe in. Breathe out. And coming up. So you can do that a couple more times if you feel like you want more of a stretch. It's up to you. From here, what you're going to do is similar, but I'm going to reach my head towards the inside of the leg, so towards the carpet here. So the difference is that instead of going over my leg, I'm going slightly inside of the leg. Alright, so I aim for where I want to go. Same thing, I breathe in, or I reach forward and then I breathe in, breathe out. And I breathe in, breathe out. It's really important to let your leg muscles relax. Don't try to force it, because that's actually just going to be counterproductive. You're better off just letting your body relax into it rather than trying to force it. And sometimes, you might have a bad day. That's fine. So just go with where you're at today. Don't be, I've got to get there no matter what, because that's when you injure yourself. And that's just counterproductive, because then you spend weeks off instead of, you go back a long way. So you're better off just incrementally, going slowly, and your body will eventually listen if you just be nice to it. Alright, so you're breathing in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One more, breathe in, breathe out. Good. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So you're going to reach forward inside of the leg. So aim for where I want to be, coming forwards, hold the ankle if you like, breathing in, Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And breathing in. Breathing out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Cool. Alright, from here, what you're going to do is you're going to come onto the inside of this ankle, this leg, and we're going to stay low, 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 all the way to the other side. So it's effectively like going through a straddle. So you don't want to be coming up. You want to actually get low and stay as low as you can the whole way around, and then we're going to do that a few times. So reach over this leg, just going to where you're feeling okay with it. Do a couple of breaths. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And you're going to go low, 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 low. Try to keep it flat back. Low, 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 low. Other side. And low, 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 low. This side. Low. Second side. Now, going to the middle, reaching forward, thinking about your belly button trying to touch the floor. I don't want you to think about your head going to the floor, because I can do that quite easily, but that's actually not as far as I can go. I want my whole chest flat on the floor, and that's thinking about your belly button. If that's actually easy for you, I want you to be thinking about arching your back as you go down. That's going to put even more of a stretch in. Otherwise, just try to keep your flat back. Alright, so don't come up like I did, I was just coming up to talk. Alright, so you're going to keep your chest, belly button on the floor. Even if you can just do that, that's actually a really good stretch. And then you can slowly lengthen the rest of your body forwards. If you can't do that, this is actually where the cushions come in. Because cushions are amazing at helping you relax. So, assuming I've done the down, 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 down. I'm going to actually come forwards over the cushions, and I can feel my belly button in contact with the cushion, right? And I can let the cushion squish down, and I can think, oh, this is so relaxing. You know, like I can actually, because it's feeling like I can relax, I can actually relax. And by feeling relaxed, I can let my muscle tension just go. It's that feeling of tension. We're like, this really hurts. That's actually holding us back. So you actually need to get away from that type of stretching and into how can I relax into the stretch. So this is going to be really good. So you're going to bring your chest flat over the cushions and then just completely relax like you're laying on a beach, lying on your couch, just chilling out. Once again, using your breathing. And then you can take one cushion out. Or both. Now, an important thing that actually I found is actually really helpful, and I learnt this from a choreographer of a professional Broadway show. She actually said to us what you should do in a forward straddle, chest to floor, is there's a little gap normally underneath your knees. Usually most people there is, sort of a bit like that sometimes. You want to think about flattening, squishing that to the floor. So you can put your hands under your knee, squish the gap, squish your hands into the floor. So that is what you're going to do. So it's kind of like tensing my quads a little bit, but I want you to think more about squishing under your knee. Okay? So squish under your knee as you come forwards. Keep it squished, keep it squished. I want there to be absolutely no gap. Now that alone has made a huge difference to my chest to floor. So when I'm doing that, I'm actively engaging my legs, my leg muscles. So if you're not engaging the muscle, they sort of, they get stretched and then there's nothing to protect them. They don't feel protected because they're just being stretched like being on a rack. And you're like, freak out, and then it tenses up. Whereas if you're actually actively engaging while you stretch, it sort of tricks the muscle. It's like, okay, I'm protected, I'm you know, I've got something to back me up here because the muscle is working at the same time as stretching. So yeah, that technique's just really effective. Just in any sort of stretching that you do, you want to sort of think about how to actively engage and stretch at the same time. So just one more time, breathing in, squish under the legs, and coming up. Awesome. So that's our chest to floor. All right. Just need to actually do a bit of a. This is really good to release that pain from having just done side straddle. So side to side with your knees. You can also do this stretch as well, like lying back with one foot back, and then actually lying back and pressing the knee down into the floor. On the other side. Knee down into the floor, this knee. And relax. Alright, now it's time for froggy. I've got some little tricks for you that's going to really help. So, with frog, what you want to think about is don't let your back arch. I see that all the time. In fact, I'm going to face side on so you can see. So, this is what I sometimes see in froggy. See my back's arched. You want to actually tuck it forwards like that. That's actually going to improve your stretching a lot more. And it's once again, it's kind of engaging the muscles, because what that does is it forces the inner thighs to sort of engage a little bit rather than just be relaxed and stretched, and they don't like that and they give up. So really think about tucking your pelvis forwards. Okay, so on your elbows if you can. If you're on your hands, that's fine. But eventually you want to see if you can come forwards and onto your elbows. So with froggy, you just want to sort of feel nice and relaxed, so you can just rock your hips forward and back. It shouldn't be too straining. It should just be, you know, like an okay stretch. It's really just to warm you up for the position for middle splits, but nothing too strenuous. Alright, from here I'm going to straighten one leg out. Now, once again, it's that whole feeling of, oh my god, it's like I'm being stretched and I've got nothing to support myself. So I'm going to press my leg, I'm going to contract it inwards. So I'm going to scissor my leg and my knee into each other, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax out a bit. Scissor, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then one more time, scissor, 2, 3, 4, 5. From here, just relaxed, rocking forward and back, nothing too strenuous. Now you can already see that this is half a side split. So what you're doing in side splits is just half of this on one side and that on one side. So if you can actually stretch out one side at a time, it's much less stressful than trying to stretch both at the same time, which is what side splits is. Okay, so I'm rocking forward and back. Now I want to see if I can actually get my calf muscle to touch the floor, and that stretch at the start is going to help get that. But also I want to think about actively pressing my knee and the whole bottom of my leg from sort of there down. I'm thinking about pressing that downwards. Yep. And if it gets too much of a strain at that position, just rock it. You want to be pretty sort of relaxed in your muscles. Now the other thing you can do, if that's actually okay, you can make it harder by reaching for the ankle. So I actually come around, try to hold the ankle and try to bring my head towards that leg. See how my leg's actually almost, from here to there, that's actually almost my side split. I'm almost flat in half a side split. And if the other knee was straight out, I would be flat. So this is how I got my side splits, right? By working on this stretch until I could get my calf muscle flat on one side. Alright, coming out of that. That's a bit strenuous. Shake it out. Sort of shake it out a little bit more if you need to. Alright, we're going to do frog on the other side. So same thing, just a nice relaxed frog, rocking forward and back, and straightening this leg. Now I like to have my toes flat, but you don't have to, you can have them lifting off the floor. I find that by flattening the tops of my toes, that actually lengthens right in deep in the groin. So, right, I'm going to press that leg, scissor it together, in with the knee, so scissor, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax, and scissor, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more, scissor, 2, 3, 4, 5, rocking forward and back, just chill out here. And then I really think about pressing that calf, or the whole bottom of the thigh down into the floor. And you can see I'm flat, so when I see that I can do that, I'm like, cool, I'm ready for middles. I should be able to get flat. And relax. Ooh! Alright, don't make groaning noises. Okay, so you can do this one. Alright, now you could slide from the standing, but I actually prefer to do it from frog because it's sort of like a bit of a stealth approach that tricks your body. It's already low in the stretch, and then you don't have as far down to go as if you ride up and you're going all the way out. It's quite strenuous in the body. So my preferred or recommended way, and you can use blocks, you can also use cushions as well. So this is where, if you're not flat in your side splits, put some cushions underneath, right? So you can use your block, 2 blocks in front to help if you like. Okay, so we're going to start off with frog. Cool. And then we're going to straighten one leg to the side, get nice and low. And then I like to be on my elbows here and straighten the other leg. Now, if you're not feeling very comfortable with only 2 cushions, you can put 3 or 4, however many you need. So, go nuts. But the main thing I want you to feel is that, yeah, cool, I could stay here for a little while. It's not too strenuous. Now, there's no way around it. Side splits is painful. You just got to put up with it. I still find side splits hard, and I've been stretching for 16 years. But the idea is you just want to feel relaxed. When your body relaxes, you sort of are able to accept the pain a bit better. What pain? No pain. Not feeling pain. So you want to think about your calf muscles on both sides squishing into the floor. I want to think about tucking my tailbone forwards and not letting my back arch. So ideally I want you on your elbows, because then you're not tempted to sort of arch your back so much. I want you to tuck your hips forward. So to actually help, if you're really finding your feet just aren't sliding, I want you to do a contract where you're tucking your hips forward, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then let your legs slide out a little bit more. Tuck your hips forward, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let your legs slide out a little bit more. And if you're feeling, yeah, that's pretty comfortable, take one cushion out, and then sink and relax until you feel that you got all your weight sinking into the cushion. You're just quite comfortable. My calf's touching the floor, my tops of my knees are touching the floor, sides of my knees. And then if you want to, you can take the other cushion out. Now this is a mind over matter thing. To get flat, it's really just a matter of thinking, just relax. So it's the same thing. You want to think that there's a cushion below you, Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in. I'm very close. Now, the other thing you can do as well to actually force yourself into the floor is that scissor motion. So scissoring your legs in and then relax. Scissor, pressing them down, and that's kind of actively pressing your hips into the floor. So I'm pushing my feet into the floor as if they're scissors, and I'm trying to close the scissors. And I'm flat. Yay. All right. So that is your side split. That is all going to really help if you work on that regularly. Coming out of it, not pleasant, even for me. This one. I'm just quickly going to go over the middle split toes up, because that's some people asking a lot of questions about that, how to do it and so on. So the middle toes up is best thought of as, it's similar, like you probably should do your toes forward one first, the one we just did. To do the toes up one, think about this, right? So this is your toes forward. So my knees are going forwards, toes are going forwards. Now see the difference? My whole leg is rotating up. So I actually use turnout muscles. My whole thigh rotates out, okay, like that. Now, if I don't have perfect 180 splits, I won't get that angle completely 180. I might be sort of back like here, and that's my best sort of side split. Obviously, I'm going to do this with both legs, but the idea is you're trying to push open, keeping the hips, so keeping the leg turned out. You're trying to push your body forward into that 180 degree shape. So you start here, and I'm going to open forwards, keeping the leg turned out. So I'll show you with both legs. Now you can start either here. If that's kind of too strenuous, you can actually just start on the floor. I actually find this harder because you've got to push up into the stretch. So what you're trying to do is open. So I want to actually be here, right? So it's like I'm doing a side split, and then I want to rotate both legs up. So it's that whole not just the foot, the whole leg. The whole leg and knee rotates up. You just practice that feeling, right? Okay, so I'm here. Sorry. And then I want to rotate both legs up. Now, I sort of want to sink down a little bit, but at the same time I want to push forwards. So I sink down, forwards, down, forwards. And it's probably better just be just a little bit under 180 degrees until you're sort of ready for it. And try to actually reach 180 before you sit down. You might actually get almost to 180, which is probably where I'm at. I can get almost there, and then my foot just starts to slide a little bit. So that's my middles, toes up. You can see I really fought to keep my hips forward and pushing forward into it. You can do a little adjustment until you can do it. Another way I've seen people doing is they just sliding down from 180 and don't go any lower if they miss the 180 degrees. You can also do that, it's a bit harder. This is sort of where I'm at, and that's fine. The other thing you can do, block or some low surface to actually practice doing it over side split. I actually found this quite good for learning this particular stretch, the middle side, the stretch with toes up, because you can sink down into it better. So although you would think, okay, you need to get it flat before you can do it over split, I actually find you don't really need to be completely open to be able to do the over split version. I'll actually use the bench. So once again, from here, I actually start with my foot rotated up. So rotate the whole leg, not just the foot. Whole leg rotates up, knees up to the ceiling. And then I'm going to slide out. And then I can rotate this other leg as well. So start with the feet forwards and rotate them up. So I like to have my hands here. And you can see I'm just a little bit off 180. And I'm really pushing my hips forward. Hips forward, hips forward. And as I come down, I can actually get a little more open. Really try to keep pressing forwards, and then at the end you can just sit down. So I'm not quite 180, I'm about 170 maybe. Alright, and that's my advice for middle splits. Hope you enjoy. Any questions, leave them below. I'll happily help. Thanks, bye.